Evergreen Childcare Inc. Welcome to the 2018 CACFP Provider Annual Training. Hey everyone! Many of you might already recognize my voice, but in any case, to all the new providers, let me introduce myself. My name is Rena Larita, and I am one of the field specialists here at Evergreen and have been working here for about 4 years now. I am pleased to announce that I will be conducting this year's annual training. So, for about an hour or so, I will be reviewing important information about the nutrition program. Please be advised you will see a total of 20 questions spread throughout the presentation. Make sure that you read each question carefully. You may use a pen or pencil to answer the questions. However, I highly suggest using a pencil in order to erase any mistakes. Please remember, in order to receive credit for this year's workshop, you must score 100% on this test. And the test is due by Friday, September 28, 2018. So if for any reason you don't complete the workshop, it will be considered a serious deficiency. So with that said, please have your pencil or pen with the answer sheet ready. Let's begin. All right, so here's a little overview of what we'll be talking about today. Let's go ahead and go down the list. Civil rights, followed by enrollments and meal benefit form, enrollment renewal 2018 and 2019, record retention, record keeping, meal production records, food receipts and the milk audit, food buying guide, meal service, daycare license renewal fee, new meal pattern requirements, claim submission and reimbursements, monitoring visits, Women's Infant and Children Program, which is also known as WIC, and the newsletters. Civil rights. The Civil Rights Regulation is a regulation that was established since 1964 under the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act with the purpose to ensure no recipient of federal financial assistance shall discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin as it pertains to the participation in programs, activities, or services. So all active centers that do participate in the CACFP, you are required to comply with the Civil Rights Regulation by doing the following. So how to inform them, all parents or legal guardians regarding your current participation in the CACFP and the program availability to all daycare children in your care. This includes children during trial period or drop-in children. So for example, if you do have a brother that currently attends the daycare center Monday through Friday, and it so happens that they wanted the sister to come in on a certain day, you must offer the program to everyone. Now, how to do that? You must obtain a completed enrollment for all daycare children, including children during your trial period and drop-in children, on the first day of care prior to the enrollment date. Once they drop them off in the, you can already give them the enrollment for the parent to sign. So please remember, the only way for centers to be able to prove that the nutrition program has been introduced to the parent or legal guardian is by obtaining a completed enrollment application prior or on the first day in care. A lot of you guys don't usually have an issue with this, but ensure to add the food program enrollment along with your enrollment forms just to show that it has been introduced prior to the first day of care. So it is imperative to understand that only the parent or legal guardian can decide their children's participation in the CACFP. You, as a daycare center provider or admin, cannot choose it or cannot decide for the parent. It's up to the parent whether or not they want the child in the food program, or they can decide to just bring all the food to the kids. It's up to them. So what we highly recommend you do the following: include the food program enrollment application along with the registration forms to ensure it was introduced prior to the enrollment date. When I say the food program enrollment application, I mean both the application and the meal benefit form. So remember, make sure that you include both of those in to your own registration forms at the center. Have the parent complete the enrollment before or on the child's first day in care, before the parent or legal guardian leaves the child under your care. Before the enrollment is submitted to Evergreen, please ensure the enrollment is completed with the parent's or legal guardian's signature and date. So again, it says here the enrollment form signature date will be the child's official enrollment date to the nutrition program. And just so you know, any incomplete enrollment application will not be processed, and meals claimed for that particular child will not be subject for reimbursement until we receive the completed enrollment on file. So this includes the enrollment form and the meal benefit form. Moving on to enrollments. All right. Well, centers can only start claiming meals for children after receiving a completed enrollment form. The enrollment form must be signed and dated by the parent or legal guardian. The signature date will be the child's official enrollment date to the nutrition program. So again, I do know that you guys do put 3 dates onto Minute Menu CX. We will go by the date of the parent's signature. Now, for example, if the parent signs it, let's say July 5th, but you don't start the minute program until July 12th, then obviously that's when you're going to start receiving claims reimbursement for that child. All complete enrollment application must be submitted to Evergreen within 5 calendar days from the date that the parent and or legal guardian signed. Again, if you enroll the child in October 1, we should have you here by October 5. It's 5 calendar days. If you are close by, I highly recommend you come and drop it off. If not, you're more than welcome to mail it to us if you don't have issues with mail. Again, we cannot control the mail system here. If the enrollments are not received within the 5 calendar days, the child will become eligible as of the date that ECCI receives enrollment. All centers must have a complete enrollment for all children prior to the enrollment date or on the first day in care before the child is dropped off. This includes children during daycare trial period and or drop-in children. Make sure you do keep a copy for 4 years. That is actually part of our record retention policy. So, what if the parent or guardian declines the nutrition program? So, what happens from there? We would still need proof that the food program was offered. By doing so, a completed signed enrollment will be proof that the food program has been introduced to the family or to the parent or legal guardian. When completing a child's enrollment, ensure to do the following. So, under the third step on Oversight tab for Minute Menu CX, make sure you remove the check mark on the child participates box. That'll automatically check that they do participate, so make sure that you remove that to show that they're a non-participating child. Okay, and again, if that's the case, a meal benefit form for the non-participants are not needed. All right, we're moving on to the meal benefit forms. All right, so what are the meal benefit forms? As part of the enrollment process, meal benefit forms are required in addition to the enrollments for each child. Now, again, these are for children who are participating in the program. Again, if it is non-participating, a meal benefit form is not needed, okay? We just need to show proof that you've introduced it to the child and they're considered non-participating. So what are meal benefit forms? Meal benefit forms are forms that determine the price category each child will be under, either if it's going to be under free, reduced, or base price. So here's a sample of the meal benefit form. This is the most current one. If you notice on the far right hand side, it says Child and Adult Care Food Program, Nutrition Services Division, NSD 3101/CACFP. In parentheses, it says the revised date, revised 8/2018. Make sure the ones you fill out for the new fiscal year has this revision date on the side. It looks very similar to the old one, so we only accept the ones that have this revision, the most current meal benefit form, okay? Here's the first section look. Obviously, you're going to put the child's first and last name, middle initial if they are a foster child. Ensure that all parents fill out each section carefully. If you are filling out section number 2, you will need your case number. So make sure that you have the parent write the correct case number on it. Proof of award letter is not needed for this. So if the parent is part of CalFresh, CalWORKS, FDPIR, case number is all we need for it. Just make sure they put the correct one for verification purposes. Okay, here's another section here for name of all the household members, and here is an example of how to do it. Make sure that if they are going to do earnings from deduction from work before deductions, make sure they put how often they receive it, if it's weekly, monthly, etc. Okay, if it's 0, then you're going to do 0 all across. Number 4 says all the printed name, last 4 digits of social security number, signature of parent or guardian, and the date. Ensure to have the parents' last 4 digits of their social security number. If they don't have a social security number, no matter what, they're going to go ahead and check no SSN. Make sure you sign in, have the parents sign and date the information. Question number 1, true or false? The enrollment form signature date will be the child's official enrollment date to the nutrition program. Please write true or false on your answer sheet. Question number 2, true or false? Meal benefit forms are forms that determine the price category each child will be under, if it's free, reduced, or base. Please write true or false on your answer sheet. All right, moving on to enrollment renewal 2018-2019. All right, so all active centers must renew each child's enrollment for the new fiscal year in the month of September. All active children's enrollments expire on the last day of September of every year. So this year it's going to expire September 30th, 2018. So how will you renew the child's enrollment? You're going to go ahead and print out each active child's enrollment on Minutemen UCX. The children's parents and or legal guardians must provide their signature and date to renew the child's enrollment in the nutrition program. In order to renew the child's enrollment for the new fiscal year, ECCI must have the provider's completed enrollment renewal on file. Print out the most current meal benefit form for each parent to fill out, sign in dates. This will be emailed to your email on file. And also the enrollment renewal for each child will include new enrollments for the new fiscal year and a current completed meal benefit form for each child. So that will be considered your enrollment renewal packet for each child. Then the new enrollments follow along with the current completed meal benefit form for each child. Just so you know, enrollment renewals are due by Monday, September 25th, 2018. Ensure to have all the enrollment renewals for each child in your center by then and have it sent to us by that due date. Again, make sure you keep copies of those as part of record retention policy. Make sure you keep copies of all enrollments and meal benefit forms for each child. Like I did mention all your orientations, I do highly suggest that you have a folder that says for the food program, and all of that is there. So that way when we do come out to do a monitoring visit, us or CDE comes out, all you need to do is give us that folder. The most current enrollments and meal benefits need to be readily available for ECCI, Department of Education, CACOT representatives to review at all times. Again, this is part of the record retention requirements. Important points are, if it isn't submitted by the due date, we will withdraw all the children as of October 1, 2018. Any children enrolled for the first time in your center in the month of September do not need to be renewed again. That enrollment will be effective until September the following year. So if you do enroll a child September 15, it will be considered a new enrollment and expire September 30th of 2019. As part of the record retention requirement, again, centers are required to keep a copy of the enrollment renewals, which will include the current meal benefit forms for each child for up to 4 years. So I cannot stress enough, make sure that you have a folder, a separate folder for the food program. Question number 3. The 2018 and 2019 enrollment renewals is due to ECCI by blank. Please fill in the blank and write the date on your answer sheet. Include the month, the date, and the year. Question number 4. What are the 2 documents that are required to submit to ECCI in order to renew your enrollments for the active children? Fill in the blanks on the answer sheet. All right, so we're moving on to record retention. So all centers are required to keep copies of their CACFP documents for 4 years. Centers must keep copies of all of this included but not limited to enrollment renewals, copies of meal benefit forms, copies of in and out times, copies of medical statement of milk substitution forms if they are applicable, evergreen contract, which is a permanent standard agreement, and copies of the monitor report. Enrollment renewals, again, that includes the renewal of the enrollment and the meal benefit form will be considered as a packet. You do also need to keep copies of the original enrollments if it's within the 4 years. ECCI and California Department of Education staff, which is the CDE, may ask to see the enrollment renewal for the current year and or enrollment forms for each child present at the time of each monitoring visit or audit. So again, I do want you to make sure that you have a folder for the current enrollment renewals or current enrollments with the meal benefit forms for each child in that folder. Any children for the previous years, you can go ahead and store it somewhere else as long as it's easily accessible within a reasonable amount of time. Question number 5. All providers are required to keep copies of their CACFP documents for blank years. Please write the number of years on your answer sheet. Now let's move on to record keeping. Recording the meal attendance. When recording the meal attendance, all centers are required to do the following: head count the children in attendance during the meal service, record the attendance during or after no more than 30 minutes after each meal service, whether or not you record it automatically onto the computer or you have them have sheets in each classroom and you check it off on each sheet. Just make sure you record the attendance during or after no more than 30 minutes after each meal service. After recording the attendance and in and out times onto the computer, please make sure your meal claims have been successfully saved. Make sure it is saved before 10 o'clock onto the computer if you do record on paper. For any technical difficulties with your computer or electronic devices, please contact ECCI immediately on the same day before 10 o'clock. The reason why we tell you before 10 o'clock, at 10 p.m., Minutemen UCX automatically updates itself and you can no longer change it. Now, if you do leave a message with us before 10 o'clock, we'll be able to go ahead and assist you. It will be time dated and stamped when you leave a message. So even though we are closed at 5, please call us and leave a message anyways. Now, this is only if you're making any technical issues. Moving on to in and out times. Recording the children's in and out times is also part of the record keeping requirement. A lot of you do have sign in and out sheets for the parents to sign in the child when they're there and sign out when they pick them up. That's considered the in and out times for the record keeping requirement. We do have a general one on file for Minutemen UCX, so you're more than welcome to use that as well. Up to you how you want to record the in and out times, just as long as you have it, and ensure to mail us copies of your signed in and out sheets for the claim month by the 5th calendar day of the following month. So for the month of September, you're going to go ahead and mail to us by the 5th calendar day, which is October 5, and we should receive it by then. Moving on to the daily attendance requirement, the USDA is requesting that all participants in the Child and Adult Care Food Program take attendance of the children present for the day. This is going to be separate from the meal attendance. The USDA memo states that all reviews of daycare homes and sponsored centers must include the reconciliation of meal counts with enrollments and attendance records for 5 consecutive operating days. So again, both daily attendance and meal attendance are separate categories. Daily attendance must be recorded daily in addition to claiming the meal counts for the day. Please be advised that failure to submit the daily sign in and out sheets for the month will result in disallowance of meals. So again, you have until the 5th calendar day of the following month to submit it to us. I highly suggest if your center is near us, you're more than welcome to drop off the copies here. If not, just ensure to have it mailed to us so we can receive by the 5th calendar day of each of the following month. Moving on to menus. Menus must be pre-planned to meet the record-keeping regulation by doing the following. Pre-plan your menus at least 2 hours prior to the meal service. Now, a lot of you centers already pre-planned for the month, so just ensure that's perfectly fine. I highly suggest that you do pre-plan for the month. It makes it easier for you to buy the groceries. If you don't, the latest you can do is at least 2 hours prior to the meal service. The menu for that day must match the meal service that you're serving. If we do come there for a monitoring visit, make sure that it does match. And if it doesn't, you will not receive credit for that meal for that day. If there is a need to make a change to the menu, again, you may do so by at least 2 hours prior to the meal service. We do highly recommend your menus to be pre-planned a week or a month in advance, which majority of you centers already do. If doing so, please review the next day's menu or the night before and make necessary changes. Make sure you review it to make sure you have enough food present for the children the following day. Ensure to post the pre-planned menus up in the kitchen and in the common area or lobby where parents can read it. Ensure to provide enough food to meet the meal pattern requirements. Pre-plan your menus that are well balanced and offer a variety of fruits and vegetables. Again, this is a nutrition program, so we do want you to offer a variety of fruits and vegetables for your children. Remember, if the center does not serve what is written on the scheduled menu, the meal cannot be reimbursed and may be used as grounds to determine the center as a serious deficient provider. Now we're going to talk about identical menus. Serving identical menus within the same week is not credible. Make sure that you serve different menus within the week. Again, this isn't a nutrition program, so again, we like you to also offer a variety of menus within the same week. Centers can do what is called a cycle menu to avoid identical menus and help plan your menus in advance. So what is a cycle menu? A cycle menu is a series of menus planned for a particular period of time. So for example, you can do Monday homemade pizza, Taco Tuesdays, Oriental Wednesdays, Free Thursdays, and then Fridays, Chicken Salad Fridays. As long as they're not the same exact menu within the same week, you'll be fine. It offers a variety of them. We do highly recommend that you do the cycle menus. Moving on to menu production records, also known as MPR. Why do we have to keep menu production records? It's to help with meal planning. 2, to record exactly what was prepared. 3, to help prevent food waste. 4, to determine how much food should be purchased. And 5, it is a requirement by the CDE and ECCI. This should be posted in your kitchen at all times. So here's a sample of a menu production record. If you see the bread component, you see the portion sizes by age group, the quantity needed for estimated attendance, and the quantity for actual attendance. This will be automatically generated onto Minimenu CX once you enter your food receipts and you enter your menus for the day. So here's a sample that I had posted up for you. Question number 6. True or false? Providers are required to record the meal counts during or after, no more than 30 minutes after each meal service. Please write true or false on your answer sheet. Question number 7. What copies of documents are needed to be turned in to ECCI to determine the actual attendance for the entire month? Hint, it is due by the 5th calendar day of the following month. Please write the name on your answer sheet. Now let's talk about food receipts and the milk audit. All centers must enter their food receipts in a timely manner. Why? Because it is a program requirement to keep all required records, which includes food receipts. This will also be part of the milk audit. Entering your food receipts in a timely manner ensures you have enough milk purchased for the meals for the following days. If for any reason you do not enter the receipt in a timely manner, it will show that you do not have enough milk to serve for the following meals, and those meals will automatically be disallowed. You are required to enter your food receipts in a timely manner to also prove to the California Department of Education and ECCI that you're spending the right amount of reimbursement on food with little to no profit. So we highly suggest you enter your receipts onto Minute Menu the day you purchase your groceries or before serving your next meal service. So for example, if you have a designated day that you purchase your groceries, let's say for example it's on a Saturday, once you do purchase that for the following week, go ahead and enter it by Saturday afternoon or even Sunday afternoon, as long as you enter it before your next meal service. Again, this is a requirement, and it also ensures that you are purchasing enough food for the following week for your children, and also helps with milk audit. Even though you purchase enough milk for the week before, but you do not enter your food receipts onto Minute Menu CX, it'll say automatically you don't have enough milk and you will not be reimbursed for that meal for the following week. So again, I cannot stress enough that you enter your food receipts on a timely manner. Question number 8, true or false? All centers must enter their food receipts in a timely manner to ensure program compliance, milk audit compliance, and to prove that you're spending the right amount of reimbursement on food with little to no profit. Please write true or false on your answer sheet. Now we're moving on to the food buying guide. So what is the food buying guide? The food buying guide is an interactive tool to help you when you want to know what is credible, what food items can be reimbursed for the CACFP, and the amount of food or portions needed to meet the meal plan requirements for your center. This is how to access it on the website. I did post a picture here on the right side. It's going to be under foodbuyingguide.fns.usda.gov/home/home. Meal service. All centers must serve meals at the scheduled meal service times agreed with ECCI. Why? Because it is a program requirement in which ECCI must conduct at least 3 successful monitoring visits to each participating facility within the CACP fiscal year. 2 out of the 3 visits must be unannounced. Also, to ensure all menus and meals meet the CACP meal pattern requirements. Also, to ensure what was written menu match what was served and meets the CACP requirements. Please remember, if ECCI does not fulfill this program requirement, we will not reimburse the center for the meals that the provider claimed. Furthermore, the center may lose the privilege of claiming that meal service. Additional important information. We also want to ensure that you have water available at all times, including during the meal service in each classroom. Also, when serving the meal, ensure to label any food that is left over with the date that it was prepared. These are all program requirements. In addition, if you do have any staff members that ate the lunch as well, although it is not a reimbursable meal, ensure to include it as your meal count on the menu production records under staff meals. And here on the right, it says it here, staff members served. Question number 9, true or false? You are not required to label the name and the date it was prepared on any leftovers of any meals. Please write true or false on your answer sheet. Moving on to daycare license annual renewal fee. All centers participating in the CACFP must be current with their daycare license fees. Therefore, proof of the annual license fee payment made to the Department of Social Services is required to be submitted to ECCI annually. The following are acceptable proofs of payments: front and back copies of the canceled check, money order, online payment confirmation, bank credit card statement that has payable to DSS and that it has been posted, copy of your profile which may be requested from licensing. Please be advised that daycare license renewal fee proof must be forwarded to us within 2 months from the license renewal date. Failure to submit the required proof within the due date may be used as grounds to determine the provider as a serious deficient provider. Question number 10. When should the daycare center proof of license renewal be forwarded to ECCI by? Please write your answer on your answer sheet. Moving on to the new meal pattern requirements. Last year, the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, revised the CACFP meal patterns to ensure children and adults have access to healthy, balanced meals throughout the day. Under the updated child and adult meal patterns, meals served will include a greater variety of vegetables and fruits, more whole grains, and less added sugar and saturated fat. These changes made to the CACFP meal patterns are based on dietary guidelines for Americans, scientific recommendation from National Academy of Medicine, and stakeholder input. CACFP daycare homes and daycare centers were to comply with the updated meal patterns by October 1, 2017. So other changes in the 2017 updated meal pattern charts, we have a new age group. This addresses the needs for children ages 13 to 18 years. This only applies to special diet or needs children or at-risk after-school meal programs. So as centers, this doesn't really apply to you unless this is a special diet or special needs child. Also, the grain components will change to ounce equivalents. Ounce equivalents will be used to determine the amount of credible grains as of 2019. So, your meal pattern charts must be posted in your kitchen at all times. This is something that I do look for myself or anyone who comes to visit you during a monitoring visit. We look to ask to see the meal pattern charts. Along with the meal pattern charts, we also ask to see the menu production records, and menus should be posted up at all times. Meal pattern charts are available on Evergreen's website if you ever misplace or damage your chart, which is www.evergreencacfp.org. The meal pattern charts are located under the Policies and Regulations tab. Click on the meal pattern chart for ages 1 year and above. If you do have infants under 1, then you also need to access the infant meal pattern charts, okay? And again, both must be posted in your kitchen at all times, along with menu production records and the menus as well. Menus should be posted at a lobby or any common area where parents can read it. Now we're going to talk about the enforcement of the new meal pattern regulation. So throughout the past year, as your sponsor, we have been providing continuous education in regards to the new regulations that became effective as of October 2017, October 1, 2017. We have allowed a 1-year transitioning period for our providers to get used to the new regulations without any disallowances. However, effective October 1, 2018, the new meal pattern requirements will be enforced and providers will not be reimbursed for any meals that do not follow the new meal pattern requirements. Let's go ahead and talk about the fruits and vegetables. Fruit and vegetables are now in separate categories. You must serve a fruit and a vegetable or 2 vegetables for all major meals, but not 2 fruits. So for major meals, this does include lunch and supper. And for breakfast, you may serve a fruit or a vegetable. For snacks, a fruit and vegetable can be served as a complete AM or PM snack. So, for example, you can go ahead and serve carrots and apples, and that'll be considered a complete morning or afternoon snack, whichever snacks you serve. Juice limit. You can only serve 100% juice once a day per whole day menu. Doesn't matter if different children are being served different meals, it's per daily menu, not per child. Moving on to whole grains. No more grain-based desserts. So what are grain-based desserts? Grain-based desserts include but are not limited to cookies, brownies, donuts, pastries, granola bars, cereal bars, breakfast sweet bars, sweet rolls, which are considered cinnamon rolls, pecan rolls, anything that are sweets rolls, Pop-Tarts, and sweet pie crust. Please be advised that although grain-based desserts are not going to be subject for reimbursement, you may still serve them but not claim them. However, keep in mind that these changes by the USDA are for the well-being of the children. So, for example, we do understand that you have graduation parties, birthday parties, and so forth. And I know that you do serve cakes or cookies or brownies for the children for a certain birthday or graduation. Again, go ahead and serve it on the side as a dessert, but you cannot claim it, okay? Now for sweet crackers are okay to serve and claim. For example, graham crackers and animal crackers. However, we want you to limit it to at most twice per week. When purchasing crackers, read the packaging and ensure that they are labeled as crackers and not as cookies. Now, as part of the whole grains new regulation, at least one serving of grains must be whole grain rich. It must indicate it on the menu. Now, the whole grain rich foods are foods that contain 100% whole grains or that contain at least 50% whole grains and the remaining grains in the foods are enriched. This whole grain rich requirement only applies to meals served to children and adults. It does not apply to infant meals. So here are examples of whole grain rich products, which are considered whole grain corn tortillas. On our website, we have a list of whole grain corn tortillas that are credible. The first ingredient must say whole grain corn. We have whole grain breakfast cereals, which are also listed on our website. Whole oats or oatmeal, brown rice, whole rye, whole grain barley, wild rice, buckwheat, triticale, bulgur, which is considered cracked wheat, millet, quinoa, sorghum, and breads or bread alternate that are made from 100% whole wheat flour. Please be advised if you do not serve at least one whole grain rich product on your menu per day, you will automatically be disallowed a meal for that day. So make sure at menu CX you go ahead and check off that this is a whole grain rich product. So in order to meet the daily one whole grain rich product requirement, centers must do the following. Ensure to check off the box where it says, is this a whole grain rich? So we do have it here in the bottom right hand side. I did circle in red. Go ahead and check that off whenever you serve a whole grain rich product. Reminders, white rice is not considered a whole grain rich product. Now for the cereal sugar limit, effective October 1, 2017, breakfast served to infants and children must contain no more than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce, which is 21.2 grams of sugar per 100 grams of dry cereal. Breakfast cereals include ready-to-eat cereals and instant and hot cereals. This new requirement will help further reduce children and participants' intake of added sugar as recommended in dietary guidelines of Americans. Daycare centers may use any state agency special supplement nutrition program for women, infants, and children approved breakfast cereal list. It's similar to CACFP. All WIC approved breakfast cereals must contain no more than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce, which is 21.2 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Also, daycare centers may use the nutrition facts label on the cereal packaging to calculate the sugar content per dry ounce. And this is going to show you how to calculate it. First, you're going to find the serving size in grams on the top of the label and the sugars listed towards the middle. Next, you're going to divide the total sugars by the serving size in grams. If the answer is equal or less to 0.212, which is considered the threshold, then that cereal is within the required sugar limit and may be credible towards the CACFP. We also have a guide of how to calculate that on our website as well, which is www.evergreencacfp.org under the Policies and Regulations tabs. Here's a sample. Remember to divide the sugar by the serving size, and the answer must be less or equal to 0.212. So if you look at the regular Cheerios toasted whole grain oats, serving size is 28 grams and the sugar is 1 gram. 1 gram divided by 28 is 0.0357, which is less than 0.212, so it is credible. However, if you do look at the Honey Nut Cheerios, which contains 28 grams divided by 9 grams of sugar, which is 0.3214, it is higher than 0.212, which means that the Honey Nut Cheerios is not a credible cereal. So these posters, again, are available on our website, which is www.evergreencacfp.org under the Policies and Regulations tab. This was done by Team Nutrition for the USDA, so I highly recommend you take a look at that. It's easy to understand. Do you have any questions about it? You're more than welcome to give us a call. Now moving on to the meat or meat alternate. The meat alternates may be served in place of the entire grains component, which is the bread or bread alternate component at breakfast for a maximum of 3 times per week. For example, you can serve eggs, mixed berries, and 1% milk to the children if you are serving the breakfast meal service and claiming it. But remember, it's only 3 times a week. Make sure it's not identical menus as well. Again, these posters as well about the breakfast and serving meat alternates for breakfast is also available on our website. Tofu. Tofu counts as a meat alternate for children over 1 year of age. Tofu must be easily recognized as a meat substitute in order for it to count as a meat alternate. Just so you know, tofu is not credible for infants ages 0 to 11 months. Tofu must also meet protein requirements at least 5 grams per 2.2 ounces by weight. How to calculate the protein for tofu? Protein threshold 5 grams divided by 2.2 equals 2.27 ounces by weight. This shows how to calculate it. If you're going to see your sample of protein is going to be 8 grams. Serving size is 3 ounces equals 2.66. It's credible because it is higher than 2.27. On the right side, we're going to talk about the non-credible tofu. Obviously, tofu in smoothies are not credible. Tofu used to add texture or enhance nutrients in foods are not credible. Tofu noodles are not credible because they're not easily recognized as meat substitute. Homemade tofu, which are non-commercial, non-standardized tofus, and soy products. Moving on to yogurt. Yogurt must contain no more than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces. This is the sugar threshold, which is 26 grams divided by 6 ounces is 3.83. How to calculate? You're going to divide the sugars by the serving size will equal the threshold. The threshold should be 3.83 or less. So we're going to do example here for the Yoplait Original Yogurt Strawberry. So you're going to see 30 grams of sugar circled here in pink, and the green is circled 8 ounces per serving size. So 30 divided by 8 ounces is 3.75, which is credible because it is less than 3.83. Non-credible yogurt products are frozen yogurt, drinkable yogurt, homemade yogurt, yogurt flavored products, and soy yogurt. We do have a poster available if you do want to go ahead and take a look how to calculate the yogurts, the sugar in yogurts. It is also available on our website under the Policies and Regulations tab, and I'll go ahead and leave it up here for a little bit for you to take a look at it. Moving on to milk. The type of milk served must be documented on the menu and must include the percentage fat content. Children under the age of 2, 1-year-olds must be served unflavored whole milk. They do need that added fat, and that's the reason why they must be served that unflavored whole milk. Children ages 2 to 5 years old must be served unflavored 1% or fat-free milk, which is also considered non-fat. And children ages 6 years and above may be served the following: unflavored 1% or fat-free milk, which is also considered non-fat milk, or flavored fat-free milk. The milk poster is also available on our website. Additional improvements for the CACFP: deep fat frying is not allowed as a way to preparing foods on site. What is frying? Frying is the cooking of foods submerged in oil or another fat. Foods can be fried in a variety of fats, including lard, vegetable oil, rapeseed oil, and olive oil. Standards are welcome to saute the food in small amount of oil, but make sure you don't deep fry the food. French fries, if you do serve French fries, you're more than welcome to bake those. Water. Water must be available to children throughout the day, including during meal and snack times. Water is not considered part of a reimbursable meal and may not be served instead of milk. It can be available in a variety of ways, which includes but not limited to cups available next to a kitchen sink or faucet, water pitchers and cups in the room on the side table, or provided when it is requested. Question number 11. Along with the menu production records and monthly menus, what other documents should be posted in your kitchen at all times? Please write your answer on your answer sheet. Question number 12. True or false? Providers must serve a fruit and a vegetable or two vegetables for all major meals, but not two fruits. Please write true or false on your answer sheet. Question number 13. How many times a day are providers allowed to serve 100% juice? Please write your answer on your answer sheet. Question number 14. How many times per week are providers allowed to claim sweet crackers, which is such as graham crackers and animal crackers? Please write your answer on your answer sheet. Question number 15. At least blank serving of grains must be whole grain rich. Please write in the number on your answer sheet. Question number 16. Complete the sentence. Breakfast cereals served to children must contain no more than blank grams of sugar per dry ounce. Please write the number on your answer sheets. Question number 17. Meat or meat alternates may be served in place of entire grains component at breakfast for a maximum of blank per week. Please write the number on your answer sheets. Question number 18. Which beverage must be available to children throughout the day, including during meals and snack times? Please write your answer on the answer sheet. Claim submission and reimbursements. All centers must submit their monthly claim via MMCX at the end of each month or before claiming the first meal the following month. Any documentation that is required to submit to Evergreen monthly that will reflect your current meal claims are due by the 5th calendar day of each month. All meal documents received by the 5th calendar day will be reviewed by ECCI staff, and its claim information will be submitted to CDE, which is the California Department of Education, before the 10th of each month. Once the claim information is submitted to CDE, it takes approximately 4 to 6 weeks to process our claim request. When ECCI receives a reimbursement from the CDE, it must be dispersed within 5 working days. So in order to access your claim summary and error report, so basically after submitting your meal claim to our agency, your claim summary and error report is available. I would wait about like 3 to 5 days after you submit it. That would be after we review everything, and you'll be able to access the claim errors report. And this is how you access it through the Minute Menu CX. You're going to go under claims. Then you're going to go under list claims. I want you to go ahead and click on view. Once you view the month that you want to view, which would be the month of the claim summary, you're going to hit claim errors. Now everyone, we do want you all to strive to receive congratulations, we found no errors. Question number 19. What message on your claim summary and error report letter should you strive to receive? Please write in your answer on your answer sheet. Monitoring visits. During each fiscal year, a minimum of 3 monitoring visits are required for centers participating in the CACFP. 2 out of those 3 monitoring visits conducted are unannounced and must be in observance of a meal service. A reminder that Evergreen's fiscal year begins in October and ends in September the following year. So, for example, this year it's going to begin October 2018 and end September 30th, 2019. So what monitors will check for are license capacity compliance, record retention, which basically means all centers who are participating in the CACFP must retain copies of all ECCI documents for 4 years. Providers must retain their records for the current fiscal year on site. But the past records, not including the current fiscal year, can be stored off-site as long as they're accessible within a reasonable amount of time frame upon request. We also check for children present versus average number of children claimed. We also check for record keeping requirements, which are menus, menu production records, recorded meals, daily in and out records, which are the signed in and out sheets. We also check for all food, juices, and milk used in preparation of a meal must be readily available for monitors to see. We also check for portion and components must meet the meal pattern requirements. Meals being served to children accordingly to the mealtime schedule and must match the menu posted. So please be advised that all participating children must be served the same meal unless they have a medical statement or milk substitution and or meal accommodation form on file. We also check for the meal pattern, which is the food chart. Menu production records and pre-planned menus must be posted in the kitchen at all times. I also check if the pre-planned menus are also posted in common areas like the lobby for the parents to see. I also check if the civil rights poster and WIC information are visibly available for parents to see in the common areas. We also check for any non-credible food that's being used. We also check if you have any water availability for the children at all times. I also check if there's any labeled leftover food, if any, and if it's labeled correctly. We also check for sanitation and safety of the facility, which includes the preparation of meals. And we also check for temperatures for all storage of food, which is a freezer and fridge, and temperatures of meals that are being prepared. So for more information, please refer to our provider's manual on our website under the Policies and Regulations tab. All right, next I'm going to be talking about the Women and Infants and Children program, which is also known as WIC. So what is WIC? The Women and Infants and Children program is a nutrition program that helps pregnant women, mothers with infants and young children eat well and be active and stay healthy. WIC helps families by providing nutrition education, issuing checks for healthy supplemental foods, and making referrals to healthcare and other community services. Foster parents, guardians, and single fathers who have custody of their children can also receive WIC. You can participate in WIC if you are pregnant, breastfeeding a baby under 1 year of age, just had a baby in the past 6 months, have children who are under 5 years of age, including those cared for by a single father, grandparent, foster parent, step-parent, or guardian, and have a family income within WIC guidelines. For further information, please visit www.wicworks.ca.gov. Last but not least, we're going to go ahead and talk about the newsletters. Providers are required to read our monthly newsletters. It usually comes out by the 15th of each month. Important information is communicated through the newsletters, such as due dates, new credible foods, harvest of the month, changes in the CACFP, and some grant information. that you may be eligible for. Please visit our website at www.evergreencacfp.org, and you're going to go ahead and click under the newsletters tab. Then you're going to select the preferable language that you want to read it on: Korean, English, or Spanish. Question number 20. Almost there. Providers are required to read ECCI's monthly blink. Please write your answer on the answer sheet. Yay, we're finished. On behalf of Evergreen, we'd like to thank you for attending the annual workshop. Thank you, gracias, salamat, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you do have any questions, feel free to contact us here at Evergreen. We are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Don't forget to write your name legibly on the sheet, and I hope you all get 100%. Take care. Thank you.